Hello, hello, hello.
Ooh.
Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties jump in, but before we went to an unscheduled break, we were talking about EIG Scouts and BGSU Falcons. EIG, of course, up 1-0 over BGSU. And we're now going into Circuit Royale. Background, complete coincidence. Either way, we're looking at a map pick that I think is pretty solid for Antifara. And you also see a Zarya ban. So BGSU being fairly reactive with these picks. And the Freya ban was what we did not get to see out of EIG. What did they say no to? We hadn't seen the Freya out of BGSU, I don't think at all in map 1. But I'm interested to see what this proactive ban is. We're seeing two different kinds of strategies, a very reactive out of BGSU and maybe a bit of proactivity out of EIG.
Well, I actually think BGSU was banning Zarya to protect Sigma. I think that was the play there, actually. More so than getting rid of the Zarya, it was more a play of we can't let EIG ban our Sigma. I think that's
true.
more what was happening there. And then EIG is like, well, okay, they're going to play the poke comp. We hate Freya, so get Freya up out of here, because more often than not, you tend to see like a Freya Sojourn, Freya Widow, Freya Hanzo. That tends to be the sort of combination of heroes you see here. So EIG is just kind of predicting what BGSU might play. BGSU is like, hey, we've had our Sigma banned on us several times when we've tried to play this map, so we can't have that happen again.
Yeah, true. Sigma's been a good pick for this map since its inception, and he continues to be a pretty solid pick. Helping out with that long-range poke, like you said. I'm interested though. Under that framework, why pick the under that framework, why pick the Zarya if they're trying to ban just cover the tanks? Why not pick something that they don't think they'd end up seeing? You're right that the Zarya is obviously not a very big pick on Circuit Royale, a very long range poke heavy map. But then why not go for something like that they didn't think they'd see, something crazy like Orisa at that point, so they can save a Zarya ban for later, since they've seen EIG use a Zarya?
I mean, it could just be that they aren't necessarily wanting the laser to come through Sigma's eat, like that sort of thing, because the beam can go straight through Sigma's eat if you happen to be in range, and that beam has a lot longer range than you think it does when you're playing against Zarya. You're like, all right, I'm far enough away from her. Wait a minute, I'm still being hit. Well, that doesn't seem right at all.
A very calm reaction to being hit by a high charge Zarya. How troubling. I seem to be taking damage. As the doors open, we've got two very different compositions. We've got the Ramatra out of EIG, and you got the Sigma out of BGSU. Definitely obvious there for the Sigma out of BGSU. We've been talking about it. The Ramatra is interesting. A poke versus a bit of a tempo tank situation.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated by the support picks. Both teams picking BAP and Ana is fascinating, as Unknown Space goes down early on that Bastion. And here you go, Dub Funk immediately taking down No as well.
Yeah, and just the chase on there. Mr. Joker and the BGSU Falcons, they have that distance to poke out, but they can also get in pretty deadly in the close range with Dub Funk on the Reaper.
Absolutely. And EIG swapping Unknown Space, swapping off of that Bastion, going over to this Mei pick here. Going to play a little bit more with their Ramatra, try and catch some people out with these Mei walls. They can be incredibly deadly if you can solo someone out with them.
Yeah, they can. And it's also just helpful to have a tanky DPS there, like the Mei, the walls as well. Trying to zone off single heroes as they go in aggressive. As Fresh going to be the first to fall. KJ, just barely able to slip out as the Reaper out of the Mei wall. thinking his thinnest of thoughts as Nono and the rest of the scouts push back the Falcons.
And they do it, but Mr. Joker taking down KJ could potentially be a big play here. But Mr. Joker just does manage to stay alive, and BGSU Falcons potentially going to get a big push here.
A huge push here as Mr. Joker uses the activatic flux, but Unknown Space goes down on this May. Oh, you just can't have that as Mr. Joker again going pretty low. These anti-nades have just been right on top of him. And now the Annihilation out of Nono, holding block and rolling back behind the corner. As, I mean, it's still the scouts holding strong, but the question is just how long is that going to last? Nono having to pop Nemesis form just to get that armor and stay alive for a bit longer. Fresh has, the Nano Reaper. 2 of them, that's a 4K ace out of Dub Funk. Nano Death Blossom, like it's season 2 of Overwatch 1 with a speed boost Nano. Hooey.
I'm pretty sure that one's a full house because you saw 2 of them were red kills and 3 of them were blue kills. So you get like a solid full house there. Great play there though from Dub Funk. Managing to get the sleep out as well and not getting slept. That's the big key there, is just timing that cooldown so well. Unknown Space, having this Blizzard online, I would be very wary of that if I'm BGSU. Both sides going to have their overclocks available to them as well.
And you'll love to see an overclock v overclock match. Excuse me. You love to see an overclock v overclock match between 2 Sojourns as a Blizzard goes out and Espresso. That's 3 from Unknown Space. And EIG showing the dominance of their own DPS. Putting a stop to it though. 2 minutes 45.
A good job there from BGSU to not use any ultimates in a lost fight, right? As soon as a bunch of people got caught by that Blizzard, good job just holding your ultimates. Now, though, EIG is probably going to build up to this nano boost because of that additional fight. So you have potentially a nano overclock on your hands here, and both teams have their BAP ultimates. EIG has everything online except for one, and here comes Fresh getting their overclock out.
Yeah, Fresh with the overclock. It's going to be Moose the first to fall. It's just Dub Funk running wild in the backline, getting the finish on it. And, I mean, there's nothing you can do.
No, there's nothing you can do at all. Dub Funk just continuing to hold W as KJ does have this nano overclock online. Gets one, but not much else as Espresso shuts it down.
Sorry, my roommate was knocking on my door to give me watermelon. We've got Dub Funk getting shut down in the backline by Viana. As EIG just can't keep it going. BGSU is going to keep the push. Well, Mr. Joker lands one. There we go. I swear, this bug with the kill feed colors swapping around is really messing with me.
Oh yeah. It's a little difficult to tell who's who. Plus side, you get a lot better at knowing which names are associated with each team.
That's true.
You get much more familiar in that regard. EIG, Nono going to have this Annihilation online. For BGSU, it's just going to be the Nano Boost, close to that Nano Blossom again. You could potentially give that to Dub Funk early and let them build up to the Blossom right afterwards. So, we could see some, would you say, some Season 2 Overwatch happening again?
Yeah, the Beyblade meta. That is 10 years old at this point. There are children alive now who did not know the horror of Beyblade meta Season 2. As you get Unknown Space taken down early there, and Dub Funk on the way to this ult. Gonna jump on the health pack, but you might have that Nano Blossom again. I don't know if it's gonna get an ace like last time, but I'm pretty confident in Dub Funk at this point with 5 ults on the board for BGSU and no defensive ultimates on the side of the scouts. They do have 4. Early first pop there. Good sleep onto the Ramatra. There's no, but it's Dub Funk with the Death Blossom in the back. Takes out the Baptiste there. So you're pretty happy about that as they keep on pushing forward. 4 meters remaining, still got 3 ults. Blizzard goes into the back line. It's a nano onto the Mei. Oh my goodness, no way. And a nano BAP for BGSU? And they lose it in the end.
You know, nano BAP. I swear I've seen that in my comp games before at some point in time. Yeah, it's either that or the pocket BAP. That's the two that are usually in my games a lot. But I mean, you see the frantic contest swaps coming out from EIG. Nono going to that Doomfist and Moose swapping over to that Lucio. And it does look like Nono is going to swap to the Orisa, so we're going to have a Kiriko Lucio Orisa style composition, which I do like. I think it's still going to be a little tough to get a ton of value just with that Sig having so much to deny Orisa. But then also now Dub Funk doesn't have as good of a target to try and run on with that Orisa being there. And then, you know, that happens.
Oh, I think Nono might have gotten disconnected on that. Just got caught on that side pillar and got in a lot of trouble there in the end. KJ with the overclock. Nice shot onto Dub Funk. Now jumping in onto the Sigma. Putting in and peppering in a bit more damage, but that's going to be it out of that overclock. Espresso jumping up in the air, and it's fresh over on the flank. Takes Augustamene. As Kono in trouble, gets hit and taken, Nono, pardon, gets taken down fresh with the double kill, and BGSU turns it around. They're going to be pushing forward. The stagger's coming through, and even the Tracer can't say a darn thing about it. They get it. 3 points into, by the way, a pretty tough map to finish in terms of your competitive. Circle Royale is not your King's Row. It's a pretty tough one to get to the end of.
No, absolutely. Most teams get stuck right where BGSU was stuck at for a long time right there. That's usually where it happens. It's like at the corner right before you actually get to the point. Usually where we're seeing these pillars of, is that water? What is that? Yeah, whatever's going on right there. It's usually right there. That's where the cart tends to stop at. It's like right before the end. But they do manage to get the cap out, so putting EIG in a very tough situation where they do have to finish this map out. And don't look now, but it appears as though they're going to be opting for that Pharah Vendetta DPS combo we saw on map 1.
Yeah, I mean, they are still in spawn, so that could change. Same with the Hazard, but at the moment, you're not seeing much shift outside of BGSU. You are seeing Fresh now on to the Ashe. But, I mean, we saw Fresh on the Ashe, and it'll give BGSU some options when it comes to dealing with this Pharah. But again, I think my hot take with the DPS line of the Scouts is that it's both the Pharah and the Vendetta. It's very difficult to deal with both. It's the Pharah in the sky and the Vendetta in your face at the same time. Yeah. It's a pretty lethal combo and a lot of displacement that this Vendetta can really take advantage of. So now it's Fresh on the high ground. Scoping out these targets as now Unknown Space has already been starting to farm off that high ground. Putting on the pressure on this Lucio as Hazard jumps in. Fresh gets liquefied by KJ the Reppin, and there you have it. I mean, Nono takes down Espresso, and it is lights out for the Falcons.
I mean, what a great wall from Nono right there, right? That all happens just because of that great wall placement followed up by the Vendetta slashes. It's like perfect teamwork, good team synergy, and that is exactly what you want to see here if you're EIG. If you're BGSU, you're probably gonna have to, I don't know, you're gonna have to catch somebody with an accretion, catch somebody with a sleep, and 1, 2, 3. Just make sure you all kill that character. Otherwise, you're gonna have a really tough time here with this slower style composition.
Especially going into a very divey composition with that Ana Baptiste. I mean, you just get jumped on. That's exactly what happens. KJ the Rippin gonna take down Espresso, and as the Reaper takes out the Pharah, good job. Good job, Dub Funk. As that happens, KJ the rep and just pummeled through the entirety of the Falcons. It's the Vendetta.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Vendetta doing a great job. Fresh managing to take down Unknown Space early there. I think that means that EIG is probably going to have to back up and wait, but Espresso gets their revenge on KJ. Finally, it happens. They get the revenge there. And this is going to be a massive ult fight coming into this next one. The only ult that is not going to be on the board is the Gravitic Flux for BGSU. Everyone else is within 15% of getting their ultimate here.
Which is why I'm looking at that only defensive ult on the board. I'm looking at that beat from the scouts to see when is it used, how effective is it, how many ults can you mitigate with it, because there's actually not a lot of really good answers to what you mitigate with it. But I guess if you get to pick onto Espresso and then the Ana as well, just who cares at that point? Moose, I think Moose might have Ajaxed. I fear that might have been the case. I didn't see it, but I think it might have.
You know, I'm gonna side with you there that that's what happened, because I don't think I saw anybody get a bunch of overhealth. And all right, Dub Funk doing things on the Reaper guy once again, getting a blue kill and 3 red kills. I mean, that's how you gotta do it right there.
One short of that full house again. You could have gotten a really good card molt on Balatro with that. But either way, it'll just be a 3 of a kind. It's a solid molt, I guess.
Incredibly solid. Coming into this next fight, Kitsune Rush going to be online for EIG. I think that's the big concern here, that Kitsune can just provide so much value, as well as the Rocket Barrage. You can somewhat mitigate it, though, as the window comes out early from Espresso.
Nano onto the Sigma of Mr. Joker. Joker going to go in, get slipped out of mid-air from Moose. Oh my gosh. That could have turned it around. It won't, but that could have, as Mr. Joker's still going to go on a tear through the entire team. But an incredible shot nonetheless out of the Ana. As BGSU hit a turnaround, we're now tied up at 1-1.
Yeah, they really did. Mr. Joker doing just such a fantastic job on that Sigma. Just landing the accretions onto KJ consistently on that defense round. And that was just, like I said, it was really incredible. You know, shout out to Dub Funk again on that Reaper, because, you know, Dub Funk was doing a lot on that Reaper character as well. As you mentioned a few times, taking that far out the air with the shotguns. You know, they're just strong enough at range, you know, just strong enough.
No, they are. And honestly, I think we were being a little bit of Map 1 Andersons. I think mainly me. But either way, I think we were maybe sounding the alarm bells a bit too early for BGSU, because that was a fantastic turnaround from that Map 1 performance. The control was pretty messy, but this is a solid takedown of that composition. It seemed like the scouts were the ones that were really pushed back to the drawing board, and what do we even do at this point? And it was against the funny Reaper guy. You know, it wasn't as stand out of a performance. There were a lot more big highlights than we saw with the Farah of Map 1, but I think really for BGSU, it was just everyone stepped up, and the team played a lot better. I think they seemed a lot more confident on that Sigma composition than what they brought into Oasis. And so that's what you're going to be looking for the next couple of maps as we go into those next 2. But before that, we're going to take a quick break. So when we come back, we'll be back with the neck and neck 1-and-1 game that we got here. So don't go anywhere. Don't change the channel, because we're going to be right back. See ya.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo.
And we are back. And I got a little too overzealous. And so we went back and I was still chewing a little bit of watermelon. I wasn't joking. It's delicious. But welcome back. We're here with EIG Scouts and BGSU Falcons in the mix of the start of Season 17 in the Diamond tier of NA. And we've had quite a bit of a back and forth, Shadowfang, haven't we?
Yeah, we really have. Map number 1 completely dominated by EIG Scouts, and map number 2, I would honestly say dominated in a sense by BGSU. We had a 3-0, right? You didn't even get first point cap, and now the response from EIG is to pick Suravasa, which makes total sense. You know, we saw them do so well on control, so why not play control with extra steps? Flashpoint.
Oh, that's a perfect take. And like, also a pretty solid Pharah map if we don't see the Pharah get banned. So we might see that return of a really, really good Pharah play that we've been oh so enjoying to see.
I'm going to preemptively say that Reaper is going to be Scout's ban right now because it protects your Pharah and it gets rid of the character that you were having a really tough time with on the last map, both at the same time. So I think it's either going to be Reaper or Sojourn. Reaper made more sense though, so there you go.
Ding, 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 ding.
Reaper
You're
ban.
correct.
No shocks to be had here. What I am going to be surprised by though is what are Falcons going to pick? Because I don't know what you realistically ban here, right? You know that potentially a Zarya Lucio style comp is incoming. So do you ban a Kiriko and force like a BAP Lucio because you saw that your BAP Espresso was playing so well last map? I think the answer is you ban Kiriko here. So that's going to be my final answer. I'm buzzing in.
locking in the Kiriko, and there you have it. I mean, I don't know. That's why I was surprised a little bit by that Zarya ban last round on the Circuit Royale. Was, yeah, they're protecting that Sigma, and that Sigma did pretty well. But I don't know. I feel like you would have wanted to keep that Zarya ban in your back pocket for a rainy day, and brother is starting to look cloudy.
I think the play here is BGSU wants to play the Ramatra, right? That's what we saw on map number 1. We saw Ramatra come out. So the difficulty, though, was in dealing with the Pharah and the Vendetta. I think the Zarya was just an additional thing that was happening on top of the Pharah and Vendetta. I think that was the real issue, map number 1. So I like the idea of forcing the Bap mirror, because we saw, again, Espresso was doing really well on that Baptiste last map. So if you force the Bap Lucio mirror, you feel good about that if you're BGSU, right? But the thing is, Fresh and Dubfunk have to be able to deal with this Pharah Vendetta. That's the biggest key out here. You can't worry about anything else until that Pharah, either one of the Pharah or Vendetta, is dealt with. Once one of them is dealt with, it's not as tough to deal with the other one.
That's true, but the problem is that they are such they are that interlocking pair that, it's very difficult to play against either of them. You want to play together to try and counteract this dive that KJ the Rippin's gonna do, but also you play together and you are a prime time target for unknown spaces. Rockets coming in already up 16% and climbing as the push in just comes in. Mr. Joker charges unknown space. I mean, that's one way to shut down a Pharah, is just come here, shoulder pin. And that'll be enough for EIG scouts. Even still, they're going to have to push back to point, and they will take it. They're going to be holding on to this for as long as they can, as Mr. Joker lands another charge kill. But, I mean, KJ the Reppin'. I mean, you said that once you get the Pharah down, it's a lot easier to deal with the Vendetta. And again, I mean, sure, that's how you deal with the Vendetta. Amir, shoulder pin.
Please, somebody help my Reinhardt. Please, somebody help my Reinhardt.
There goes my hero.
My Reinhardt has pinned like 3 players already. Pinned a Pharah and a Vendetta. I need assistance. I need assistance of some sort. Please help me. All right.
Have him hit his life alert. He needs help.
I swear this is my comp games. I swear this is exactly how no.
Oh my god.
But anyways, Mr. Joker has the Shatter online here. I think it's going to be tough to land, but I've seen crazier things come out of Mr. Joker already, so we'll see where it goes.
I was going to say, and speaking of crazier things out of Mr. Joker, he kills the Pharah. There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes right back to spawn. Oh boy. I mean, wow. Switch to the Life Weaver off of Mute Sammy. I think that definitely a good pick with a Reinhardt to try and facilitate some real aggression there. As the dive comes in with the hazard, very aggressive. Does he have the backup for it? No. Yeah, no. I'm gonna say no.
Nope.
He does not.
No, indeed, as my Reinhardt lands another big shatter there, getting 2 off. And the point is going to flip in the favor of BGSU going into this next fight. But EIG going to have that sound barrier, the downpour. I don't know the name of Vendetta's ult off the top of my head. She's still too new. But her ult is also very strong, right? And then BGSU, all you have is this Deadeye available. You can potentially get some value out of that, but it's going to be really tough if you're fresh.
Yeah. Sundering Blade is a pretty tough ultimate to deal with. Definitely didn't just Google that. And KJ already took down Espresso. And, Fresh is going to take them down. And that'll actually be enough. Fresh with the Cassidy, a pretty solid way to deal with, honestly, both the Venture now from Unknown Space and the Vendetta is with that Magnade.
It's very feast or famine from KJ, as you were saying previously, because we saw some fights where KJ is just immediately taking down both supports on that Vendetta, and then there are other fights where KJ is just essentially flying around the map and spinning, right? Like that's all that's kind of happening. But in the fights where it is feast, it is incredibly strong and powerful. No opting for that Ramatra swap, and into the back line goes No, taking down Fresh.
I mean, when you got the aggressive beat going, why not use it and use it to great efficiency there? As scouts are going to take that point C and start to try and even this up. Oh, that's the Venture Battle Pass skin. Been grinding for that.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking one. It would go really good with the galactic camo too, I think, just because of like the whole color scheme you got going on, the whole spaceship style, right? A lot of ultimates on the board here. I'm really looking for this shatter to be big time for Mr. Joker. You need to just get at least one person off of this shatter. But beyond that, it doesn't matter that much. You just need to get one kill with it.
Yeah, and well, it's the follow-up, I think, as you've got the Fire Strike, nothing in there, so you got an opportunity to just go in, and go in, Mr. Joker is gonna do. As there goes Fresh, taking down Unknown Space during the Tectonic Shock, which is a really great play. As now it's gonna be Dub Funk on the Tracer, chasing this Vendetta to Kingdom Come. And the shatter did go off at some point, but they won the fight, so whatever.
Yeah, all good happening there. The Fire Strike, the invisible Fire Strike, it's the most powerful tool in all of Ryan's toolkit. You can't dodge it if you can't see it. That's what I like to say. This Sundering Blade been online for quite a while for KJ the Reppin, so I would expect them to launch it this fight just because they feel like they've had it for too long, quite frankly.
And there you go. I mean, almost as soon as you said it, you got some kind of clairvoyance here, man. As Mr. Joker's going to go down, a good Deadeye's going to take down Moose. Good tracking on this Juno, and that's going to be a great play off of Fresh, finishing off the Juno. It's going to be a retake here from Bowling Green. About one more fight there, and they've got it. And a great finisher there. They might not even need this next fight if they can get that.
It's very possible. Mr. Joker has swapped on to mirror the Ramatra here. I kind of like this Tree of Life being available. You're going to have to play directly in this Tree of Life, and you got to pop it at just the right time because the Orbital Ray and the Annihilation is going to be crazy. But that Tree of Life does do enough healing to potentially sustain you through an Annihilation.
Yeah, and there goes the Orbital Ray, there goes the Tree of Life, and almost like clockwork, man, it's what you see. You got the beat going on as well, so even more aggression from the scouts. I mean, BGSU, they just have to pull back. 3 ults dropped in the span of a couple seconds, even with one to respond to their own, but now they've got the 3 ults on the board. The Pulse Bomb coming in over the top. They've got the Baptiste ult. An Unknown Space goes too close to the sun. It's going to be a Deadeye to catch a Moose. But they don't step on the point. Oh no, dude. Mini
Do we have like that sound cue? The trumpet that goes wah 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 wah. Do we have one of those available? Like that would be very, very fitting. Very fitting because that was an incredibly one fight for BGSU. And they just weren't able to touch the point. Just backed up a hair too far. That Tectonic Shock going to be online for EIG coming into this next fight. Annihilation and Amp Matrix going to be available for BGSU as that Tectonic Shock does go off.
Gonna find a pick onto Fresh. A really great play. But KJ the Reppin gonna get taken down. It's the mantra of Mr. Joker just pulling through. One after the other. These picks are flying. And there you go. I mean, oh, Mr. Joker from Bowling Green getting a full house, I think. Almost, at least.
Mr. Joker showing all Jokers how it's done here in this exact moment. Great plays from Mr. Joker there. Still got the Amp Matrix online, and you managed to get very close on your Pulse Bomb. Tree of Life almost online as well. But in the meantime, Moose basically has this sound barrier online. Once again, they are building that up very quickly, by the way.
Very quickly, and to great effect for the scouts. It allows you to be way more aggressive or respond to these ultimates really, really well. And that's exactly what they've been doing. I mean, the Annihilation into the Deadeye, but it's KJ the Reppin who gets taken down. Unknown Space, I think, got at least one, if not two. Otherwise, Fresh just walked off the map. But Unknown Space getting the Drill Dash kill, knock off. Well, getting an achievement if they didn't already. A lot of fatalities to the water there. A lot of the Falcons going for a bit of a dip. As that'll be Scouts taking that point.
Oh, that's tough. Dub Funk tossed out a Pulse Bomb there at the end. I don't know if you saw that happen. Tossed it out right at Unknown Space right as they were dying there. You really would have liked to have held on to that. And side note, Moose managed to hold on to the sound barrier. So the sound barrier is going to be available for this next fight, you know, potentially to counter Mr. Joker's Annihilation, or they could just beat aggressively as we've seen them do a few times.
Yeah, we've seen them do that pretty much every time. EIG, and there goes Deadeye on the pedal platform. Oh, fresh as heck. As that's going to be Mr. Joker getting that finishing pick onto Juno, and oh boy, the BGSU Falcons keep it rolling, but oh, I'm still thinking about that mini C9. That's just so sad. They also disabled the little sound effects in our Discord voice, so I can't make it go womp womp womp. As the aggressive beat goes in, Tectonic Shock at Unknown Space gonna find the pick onto Sammy, as it's gonna be the Annihilation over top. Once that beat goes down and expires out, it's just gonna be Mr. Joker running through. I mean, No will find the pick eventually, but it looks like you got just enough off of the Scouts to come in and snatch it from them.
Oh man, that is so tragic for BGSU. You're now at map point if you're BGSU. And honestly, this has felt very back and forth so far. So I would be surprised if we don't see 5 points on this map. But in any case, going into this next point, BGSU going to have that Amp Matrix and another Pulse Bomb online, and they immediately take down KJ the Reppin', but Dub Funk gets traded out right after.
Dub Funk gets traded out, but they're going up against the Annihilation on a No. I don't know if they've got enough to really stand there, as Unknown Space going in aggressive, taking out Mute Sammy, and yeah, there you go. Mr. Joker just in too deep, gonna get taken down by X Moose, and that'll be EIG up.
That's something I would have done. I'm gonna be real with you right now.
That's something I would have done too, but you know, I'm not playing in CGL.
That's definitely something I would have tried to do in that exact moment. I can tell you right now what happened.
Perfectly. Just like, yeah, I got this. I don't got this. I don't got this at all. Unknown Space, that's still gonna get the pick onto the Tracer, because whatever. It's No is gonna run in with the Annihilation, finally has it, and able to use it and just rush through the entirety of BGSU, getting them the picks. Unknown Space just peppering in the damage as well, getting the melee kills. But now climbing up towards that elusive 3 points.
Yeah, this venture really putting in some work for Unknown Space. Finding the other pick outside of the Pharah. Unknown Space seems to like the really silly heroes so far. I swear, I've seen them play like May, Pharah, Venture. And next they're going to be on Sombra. That's going to be the next hero. But coming into this next fight, we have 4 ultimates online for EIG. This is going to be the big ult dumpy type fight. So this is a really important one. This could be the end of the map if EIG wins this one.
And it's an aggressive beat to start off with the Deadeye pushing in. KJ takes down Mr. Joker with the draw. As now you got 2 more.
There you
BGSU,
have it.
BGSU, you wanna bring that you wanna bring those that point presence, you wanna bring that to my desk here? That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's brutal. You had 2 points for BGSU taken in heartbreaking fashion. 3, honestly. Every point you lost there for BGSU was just something that I think you look at the VOD and you go, we should have had it. Maybe not that last one, but at least those 2, you have to look at and go, we should have had it. We should have had it, man. Because for multiple times, it seemed like BGSU had that upper hand. For multiple moments, BGSU had the picks or had the presence or had the point, and just like sand slipping through the fingers, it fell away. And for that to be the one that brings EIG to match point, to be that one step closer to starting off the season with a win, really big for your momentum, for your strength of schedule, everything so important. And just for your mental as well, to start off the season and be like, we did it, we won. That hurts. I mean, oh, that hurts. I'm upset. I'm like fired up a little. And I'm not even playing.
You know, I have a really good expression for this. The operation was a success, but the patient died. That's essentially what just happened. Yeah, we did it, but also we didn't. So very close there from BGSU. A lot of positives you can definitely take from that. And, you know, it really just, all you can do is move forward, right? You just kind of forget what just happened right there. You know, it happened. We move on to the next map. We've got either push or hybrid available to us here, right? So what are we thinking at this point? Well, from what I just saw, it seemed like BGSU was really strong on that brawl style composition. They were doing a really good job for that entire map. So I would opt for King's Row here. I think that's gotta be your play, right? You can do King's Row. You could do an Eichenwald, a Hollywood, or a Nobani, but I think King's Row is going to be the more brawl favored of all these maps, as opposed to any of our push maps that we have available. So that's going to be my final answer. I'm going to lock in King's Row for the map pick.
I'm going to lock in King's Road too. I think that, you know, for BGSU, it's back to basics. It's back to, you know, good old King's Row. And I mean, I think now is really the test of like how solid is this mental, because a lot of times, you know, I've casted a lot of collegiate teams playing Overwatch. Interesting. But what I'm saying was I've casted a lot of collegiate teams, and they can be a bit doomer with the mental. They can be very, like, the mental can swing very heavily. So after taking a really heartbreaking loss like that, how well are they able to recover from it? But what we had locked in, we ended up being wrong on. They're going to take us to Numbani. An interesting play.
Okay, so they're probably thinking more of the dive play style is what they're feeling like here, right?
Yeah.
The ban is really going to tell us a lot. So if BGSU is going to be attempting to play this dive play style, you're going to want to ban something that potentially can prevent that from happening, that EIG has been playing a lot. I don't know. I don't think there's a good option for that. I'm just going to say Venture and lock that in. That is my guess right now. You want to get rid of the Venture because of what we were seeing last map. It's either Venture or Pharah. That's like your two choices here. Get rid of one of those two heroes and just force Unknown Space onto the other one.
Overall, I think it's probably going to be the Pharah, just because I think the Pharah was more of a thorn in their side, or has been for a running time. And not that Unknown Space's Venture was any amount of slouch, but as we see the Pharah pick locked in, I think that overall the Venture pick was like rough in terms of how BGSU dealt with it,
Yeah.
but I think it's addressable. I think the Pharah has been a match-long struggle of how do we deal with this, how do we put up with it. I think it was either going to be the Pharah or the Vendetta at that point. If you're looking at a dive style composition like we've been seeing run most of the night, I think you were going to see the Pharah over that. But the Ana out of the supports.
Okay, yeah, that's solid. You've been playing a lot of that Hazard. You don't want to get antied on the Hazard and force out that Suzu super early if you don't have to. So, that makes sense to me because you can still run the Hazard very effectively here. It's like I call Hazard, he's like kind of dive. You can kind of do it a little bit. And Numbani is a map where that would be good enough, but EIG actually going to have a substitution here. No coming out, and Fenya going to be coming in for this map, so maybe we won't be seeing that Hazard that we've been seeing on the other maps.
This is a really interesting time to substitute in a tank for EIG. Fenya, like you said, showing the Ramatra on this graphic. Obviously, I don't think we're going to be seeing the Ramatra. I think this is probably going to be the Diva, sort of their Diva specialist. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Diva there, or maybe it's just characters that are a little better at the dive. Maybe the Hazard was just a bit of a reach for No, and we're still going to see that Hazard. Maybe we're looking at a Diva. Maybe we're looking at something completely different.
Yeah, could be Diva. That is their most played hero on the team sheet, so that would
That's what
honestly
I was
make
looking
sense.
at.
That would honestly make sense to me if that's the way that they opt to go here. I'm more of a Winston fan and believer myself, but that actually could be the reason that we saw EIG ban the Ana too. They don't want to see the Winston, right? Because Winston versus Diva directly is not a good matchup, but Winston teams against Diva teams, I tend to err more towards the Winston team-based composition. But BGSU actually going to be opting for the Sigma here. So I think that's going to be tough to deal with all the mobility that EIG is going to have, because I mean you can see right here with them walking out right now, they got a Bastion, they got a Symmetra, so they're able to teleport everybody all around the map. And then you obviously have Diva, Kiriko, and Juno, who are all mobile in their own rights.
Yeah, and I mean there's not really a not mobile character here. The least mobile character you have there is the Bastion, and you got the Symmetra there. We'll have to see what exactly the plan is for this EIG team, but I'm a little interested about how the Sigma's going to deal with the hypermobility. Will be interesting as we've got Mr. Joker rolling through a lot of damage already out from unknown space. I think maybe just a good mag grenade early has really charged up unknown space to 50% of the ultimate in such a slow attack. It's really surprising to see just how quickly unknown space has charged up to this ultimate, as Dubfunk nearly getting taken out there on the Juno in the back line, as EIG, little flank coming in from BGSU. They're really trying to play through this doorway, but it's just they don't have the staying potential. They're trying to play at range, but KJ the Reppin is going to get that finishing pick onto Dubfunk on the Symmetra. Really dangerous for a Tracer to be running around low health around the Symmetra. And now Dubfunk switching on to the Reaper. I mean, sure, but they've been sitting in this choke for a minute straight. Finally get the pick.
Well, there's the moment, but, there's also the moment, I guess.
Yeah, moment over.
Not
there's
really
nothing else
much.
to say.
Yeah, not really much you can do with that, honestly. You lose Mr. Joker immediately when you finally get the kill, so Mr. Joker going to be swapping over to that Hazard, doing the kind of dive that I was talking about before. BGSU does have the Kitsune Rush online, but you're going to have to aggressively push onto somebody. Otherwise, I don't know how you're going to be able to get a kill here.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a fascinating pick for BGSU to go on to the hazard. It's just, who do you dive? Who do you jump on? Kitsune onto the overclock, and I mean, there goes Mr. Joker from the self-destruct. Fenya's gonna go down, so it's a trade, but I mean, you gotta pick out of Espresso. BGSU has the opportunity here. They get to pick on Fresh on the Sojourn. Puts it together and actually really gets it through. That's gonna be Fresh picking up, I think, a 4-piece at the end of it.
There it is. There it is. My Sojourn just killed everybody. That's all we needed, right? Just Sojourn, go kill everyone. And now we can play the game again. So here we go. BGSU going to be pushing around this first corner. EIG going to have both support ults online in that Kitsune Rush and the Orbital Ray, as well as that Photon Barrier going to be available to them. They are going to have the Tidal Burst online, is BGSU as well, so potentially something you can throw onto your hazard and just have them jump the back line.
Yeah, I think throw it onto the hazard, jump in the back line, and I think that's exactly what they... Oh no, they had it on to... Maybe this... I didn't see exactly who they had it on to, but they did have it on to someone who then jumped in the back line. Might have been the Reaper, actually, as KJ the Reppin does go down to Mr. Joker. Great shot out of Fresh to take down Moose as Dubfunk goes down. BGSU, honestly, they're okay with it at this point. Got one more. It's the ult here waiting for Mr. Joker. We've got a lot of big ults coming through.
Photon Barrier does come out from KJ the Rep in there. BGSU going to have that Downpour, Death Blossom, and their Overclock available. They wait out that Photon Barrier, and now I imagine is where they're going to get a little bit more aggressive, and Downpour does come in.
Yeah, Downpour comes in, lands onto the D.Va, who's able to escape. Big health pool, as Mr. Joker just goes into aggressive on the follow-up unknown space. Especially against a Bastion like that. That DPS just too overwhelming. You can't go in that deep. Well, Dubfunk will take down one. So maybe an opportunity to push in once he get Mr. Joker back with no Moose. Moose going to switch to the Baptiste, a slower option. So you'll have to see if they take the opportunity or if they see it.
Well, right here, BGSU does have the Kitsune Rush online, so you can probably just drop this Kitsune on point and have Dubfunk just walk at the enemy team, because Reaper is unbelievable in a Kitsune Rush.
And with the Death Blossom, there you go. There's the Kitsune Rush, but it's actually out of EIG, and Dubfunk's gonna be the one getting taken down off of it. And there you go. I mean, it's Mr. Joker, and no, wait, Mr. Joker's completely turned it around. Taken two already, looking for this Baptiste. Will be taken down in the end. It's just, I mean, it's an early pick onto Dubfunk, and a big investment just doesn't get it done for the side of BGSU.
Yeah, the Kitsune Rush just a little bit too late there from Mute Sammy, right? You'd already lost 2 or 3 players, and then you pop the Kitsune Rush. It's just not... You either need to like directly match it or kite it and then come back and use your own Kitsune Rush. But using the Kitsune Rush once everybody's already dead is just kind of like you know, you do see Mr. Joker manage to get a couple of kills with it, but it's also like, you know, hey, we needed to use that when our whole team was alive so that we had a better chance of winning that fight. Dubfunk does have the Death Blossom online here, though, and another downpour for Mr. Joker, actually, now that I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Joker's been popping off on this hazard so far, but this, I mean, they can try and combo it up if they want, but going up against a D.Va, it's going to be pretty tough to really use this Death Blossom effectively for Dubfunk. Dubfunk's going to get the pick onto Moose's unknown space, matches it with a pick onto Mute Sammy. Is now walking in, KJ the Reppin, getting taken down. It's Mr. Joker with the block. Fresh in trouble, taken out by unknown space. He's traded. It's back and forth. Maybe the DPS, maybe, and that's exactly what you were afraid of. You hit the Q, and the D.Va holds right click, and your ult is so much tringa in the ears of that D.Va as the defense matrix does its work, as Moose just pops ult, shuts him down. A great play to end it off there. Good stuff by Moose, seeing the opportunity and using it well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just recognizing that BGSU has to push this point. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put my garage door right in front of this point. You're going to have to be in the vicinity of this garage door at the very least that I'm popping right
Mhm.
now. You don't have a choice in the matter, actually. You have to be in front of me while I pop this.
Yeah, and then, just hits the shoe, just completely and totally. And now 88.25 meters is respectable out of
Hmm.
BGSU. They would love to push into that point C, but being that deep into point B gives them the time, gives them two solid fights,
Yeah.
if not three, depending on how quick those fights go, gives them two or three solid fights on point C, on point B, pardon. And at that point, you have something where you can put a defense together. And I think
Yeah.
the Sigma is going to work a lot better on this defense here
Hmm.
with a pre-established high ground and not having to push through a choke aggressively. If it
Yeah.
comes to a retake, we'll see.
Yeah, I think you really, if you're BGSU, you absolutely need to win this first fight. Like, just no question about it.
Mhm.
If you lose this first fight, it's gonna be, you're not gonna be in very good shape because in all likelihood you are going to lose the entirety of this first point as soon as you lose a fight. So at least get this first fight out of the way and have it go positive for your team.
Yeah, and you have to do it by shutting down this dive from KJ the Rippin', and that's exactly what you see Espresso do. A great shot, shuts down the Vendetta, but as Unknown Space goes down too, that's exactly what you see happen. An impregnable fortress for the Falcons, and Dubfunk goes wild. It's like all of their Christmases have come at once.
That is exactly what you need if you're BGSU, right?
Hmm.
Look at that ult advantage right now. Most everybody is sitting at about 50% EIG. Nowhere near really anything. Unknown Space going to be swapping over to that venture that we saw them have so much success with on Suravasa. Let's see if that continues here. See the entirety of EIG rotating through this low ground. Just looking to, get some space here for their DPS to pop off.
Whoa. Whoa, they dropped to low ground. I'm a little surprised at that they dropped to low ground that early for the BGSU Falcons. Dubfunk will TP back on to that high ground, and KJ the Reppin will go down. Espresso has just been on shutdown vendetta duty thus far. And it's been working off pretty solidly as Unknown Space goes down. A great grip from the Life Weaver, and that 4-minute time bank is now at 2.
Yeah, Espresso hit the Infinity Gauntlet and said, fine, I'll do it myself. As Fenya does swap over to this Winston, probably going to be heavily targeting Espresso, but the thing is, you've got a Life Weaver to deal with too. And Life Weaver, I swear, is one of the hardest characters to kill very quickly. He just has too many cooldowns to give him health.
Yeah, Flux goes in. It's going to be Mute Sammy taking down Unknown Space, just running wild. And that's the ults that you really need, an aggressive beat. And KJ Dubfunk. I don't think Dubfunk's going to be able to pull this off, but wouldn't it be cool if he could? He can't, but it would be cool if he could. As the Sigma's going to go down, and I mean, there's an opportunity here. There were some picks out of scouts. They could do this.
There is some potential for BGSU to try and touch this back. I don't think it's worth doing. Just get your swaps in. I don't like the Zarya swap by Mr. Joker.
I don't either.
As a heavy Winston player, I tend to kind of feast on Zarya compositions when I'm on Winston. So I don't know. We'll see. It looks like Fenya is actually going back to spawn though to potentially swap to something else.
To the Reinhardt is an interesting play as Dubfunk gets a great pick onto KJ the Reppin and just jumps right back in, but the Reinhardt's an interesting counter pick toward the Zarya here. I mean, we'll have to see. You got both ventures, or there's only one Unknown Space charging up to ult. You got KJ the Reppin now switching on to the Reaper to match Dubfunk's very aggressive Reinhardt play. just walks across. I mean, aggressive just walks across the corner and gets darn near melted as Dubfunk goes right into the back line to land 2 picks. And I mean, Unknown Space can get the revenge, but it's only going to be in name only at that point, as they just have to pull back. 2.5 minutes remaining. This pretty easy push is starting to look a little difficult.
It is going to be. You're going to want to win this next fight if you're EIG, which is very possible. You have Kitsune Rush online. Fenya already taking down 1-2. Make it 2 for Fenya.
Fenya just absolutely decimated the entirety of the Scouts team. Fenya's just going on a tear. And now it's 1 fight left for BGSU. Not a lot of ultimates on the side of either team. So really it's only the Bastion ult, and then you've got Mr. Joker coming up with ult eventually. Probably about the same time as Moose, though. So you're looking at about even, I think.
Fenya has Shatter, though, and you don't have really anything that can deal with that, quite frankly.
There you go.
Even a well-timed bubble, but Fresh getting Fenya. That was the answer.
That's how you deal with the Shatter. Kill the Reinhardt. Just kill him.
Kill the Batman. That's the answer.
Yeah. See, we kill the Fenya. That's the answer. There you go.
All right, down to 1:20 left here. Still plenty of time. Side note, 4 ultimates going to be online. That Shatter's still available. The aggressive beats from Moose have been critical, though, for EIG. So I think that's going to end up being the big-time ultimate here.
And against no support ults out of BGSU, it's going to need something big here. And they need to stay on this point. They need to have someone with a foot on it. But the Death Blossom and Engage is a weapon! It's all done! EIG take it. Solid play. And they're all the way over there. They're so far away. As Fresh and... Oh, man, I wanted to see that Death Blossom again. But Fresh on this Sojourn, just playing incredibly well. And, man, oh, man.
Yeah, that was a really strong performance from EIG. BGSU had several good moments throughout this series, though. There were many times I think that they could have turned this around and had it go in their favor. Even on a map like Numbani right there, like I said, there were several fights. They were just kind of holding their ultimates a little bit too long, ulting at the wrong time, not quite hitting the exact right angles, that sort of thing. So things that are very easily fixable for BGSU, so you shouldn't feel too bad about this. And if you're EIG, you did a fantastic job. Really just strong ultimates across the board. Very good swaps from Unknown Space, consistently just playing whatever hero is needed. The tank swaps there on that last map from Fenya. Just, again, overall, just great plays from the EIG Scouts.
Yeah, I think the Scouts have a lot to be happy with, and they're a team that I'm going to be keeping my eye on for the rest of the CGL season. I think they played really well, and I think that, like you said, specifically the flexibility on the tank, on the projectile side, really good flexibility, and I think that's that ability to swap to whatever's needed at a moment's notice at the drop of a hat, and not only play it but play it well, was instrumental in why this is that result that you see, a 3-1. And I mean, solid play, like you said, solid play out of the BGSU Falcons. It was just a little short, and like you said, I mean, fixable. That's the best thing that you can say. I mean, not the best thing you can say, but it is the silver lining of the cloud here for the BGSU Falcons, is that the steps they need to take are not momentous. They are just tedious, I suppose, as you're looking at just those ult timings, and you're looking at a little bit more coordination in exactly when those ults are going to be used in that timing. But overall, solid play, and I think you had a lot of good spots. So I'm excited for both these teams going forward into week number into season number 17.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like I said, good performance coming through from both sides here tonight. But but with all that being said, we're gonna go to a quick break here. We're gonna have an interview from the side of the EIG scouts, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Got lots of love. Love. Got lots of love. Love. Got lots of love. Love. Got lots of love. Love.
And we're back here from the victorious EIG Scouts. Gethsemane, thank you for joining us and welcome to the stream. How are you feeling after a hard-fought win and starting off the season right?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I feel really, really good. My team, we have practiced a lot here lately and worked on a lot of different things, and really this first win is just, getting the ball rolling. So we are excited that we won this, and we're excited to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's great first win for sure. So my first question is going to be, what exactly were you thinking after map number 2? You had a very dominant map number 1. You get full held on Circuit Royale. What's your headspace looking like as a team as you're going into Saravasa?
So the Circuit Royale game kind of, after the game, we kind of talked and tried to figure out our rights and our wrongs and everything. And we both acknowledged, or everyone acknowledged, me as Kiri not being on the cart, needing to be up there with the rest of the team. So going from there, I just kind of made sure that going into the next map, regardless what it was, but it being Saravasa, making sure that, I'm playing in position, everything like that, which I did unfortunately get out of position a few times on Servos the first point on Alari. But yeah, going into that, we just made sure that we were calling out comms, making sure everybody was in position and just trying to play around each other better than before.
All right, all right. And then, second question. This is kind of, I would say, a more wide open tier than it has been in the past because there aren't really that many returning teams. I believe Cuddle Puddle is going to be like the main one. Is there anybody like through your scrims that you've done so far that you're really just like, oh, this is going to be a really tough team for us? Or like, what have you been thinking so far in that regard?
In the last couple of weeks, we've done a couple different scrims against different tiered teams, different levels, things like that. I would say we are actually very excited to go against Cuddle Puddle. I think we go against them in week 8. We are very excited to go against them, and we think that most likely then that's going to be our toughest target for right now. Since that's week 8, we still got a lot of time to scrim with the other teams, go against everybody else, and hopefully by the time we get to week 8, we're stronger. We've got a lot of different things ready for them.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, if it's anything like tonight, that's going to be a match to watch for. One last thing before we send you off. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or give some thanks to before we wrap it up here? Anyone particularly kind? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I want to shout out my whole team, our coaches, managers, everybody. All of my friends that pulled up to the scrim tonight or to the tournament tonight, everybody out there. We really appreciate all of our coaches, everybody that works hard. I appreciate my team working together and making sure that we're ready to go.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck going forward in the season, and congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you.
All right, and that was Guess the Mene from the victorious EIG Scouts. A great way to start off the season and a great way to start off the tier for NA Diamond Tier 2 teams going neck and neck for 4 maps. That's it for you and me, Shadowfang. So we're going to give a big shout out to our wonderful producer Headrammer, our as well as Honeybee for their work behind the scenes, and thank you for joining me on this. Yeah, all right.